Alright, hey guys, Blood Moon Bobby here. So, Best Buy has told music suppliers that it plans to stop selling CDs by July 3rd. First, and also Target has told suppliers that going forward, basically they're only going to sell CDs that are flying off their shelves, and also the music suppliers will have to pay for any CDs that don't sell. And before I start getting into some more details, Best Buy will continue to sell vinyl for 2 years, which is interesting given that vinyl was dying off when I first came into this world, and now it's coming back. I mean, for nostalgia reasons. And the other weird thing is cassette tapes are coming back as well, and sales rose by 35% in 2017 thanks to the Guardians of the Galaxy mixtapes, again for nostalgia reasons. The interesting thing is, as for going back to CDs for a second, a Business Insider journalist wrote a story where he went to this 3-story Best Buy in New York City and basically found that the CD section is a ghost town. Like, they do have the new hit albums there, but basically nobody was really buying them at that Best Buy. So now people have voiced their concerns on social media, and even the industry isn't really sure. Like, there were a couple people, according to, I believe it was the Chicago Tribune, that said that that there were at least 2 sources that said they're against what Target and Best Buy are doing, and there's one that says they are undecided. So even though yes, acknowledging there are, still many people who like their CDs. But the thing is, most people I know, whether it's people I know personally that I work with, for friends, or even just people I come across at my college, I think it's just that everybody's moved on to streaming now, because you don't have to carry around a ton of CDs anymore, and because it's all digital, it can, you can put, as they said in the original iPod commercial, you can put a ton of songs in your pocket. You don't need to save space for your CDs anymore. And yeah, that's pretty much how I felt too. Like, as for me, I'm a person that got into music when I was like around 11 years old after playing Guitar Hero, and I was like, hey, I really like the rock and alternative songs they have. I'm gonna start listening to them on my own. So I started borrowing my sister's iPod Nano, and then I got my own iPod Touch, and it just kept going from there. I used to put songs on an SD card and put them into my Nintendo DSi and 3DS, and now I stream music occasionally onto my computer, but more often than not on my cell phone, whether it be my Nexus 5X or iPhone SE, or thinking of actually getting an iPhone 7 next week. But the point is, basically, like, I got into music pretty much when the digital music revolution was in full swing, and I honestly can't picture myself getting CDs, mainly because, one, for convenience, but also the sweet thing about streaming music, or if you still buy your music, is that you don't have to buy an entire album. In fact, you're not really buying songs nowadays. You're basically paying for a service. You're paying like $9.99 if you're using something like Apple Music or Google Play Music or Spotify. Basically somewhere around the $10-15 range. Like, I know for a while, if you wanted Google Play Music and YouTube Red, it was $13. But basically, we're no longer really buying albums or really buying music. It's basically we're paying the price of one album, but we're getting access to all the songs we want, whether it be the latest Taylor Swift song, or if you're like me, you go jump back in time and you want to listen to something from the Beatles or the Bee Gees or Toto. I'm really getting into, it's interesting how when I started getting into some of 20th century music, like, I'm a fan of music, basically anything from the 1960s onwards, of bands like I mentioned, the Beatles, the Bee Gees. I'm also a big fan of Michael Jackson, The Who, and like I said, Toto in Africa. You know that song? I was the rains down in Africa. And also big fan of REO Speedwagon and George Michael and Wham. And all these artists from the 20th century, like the latter half of the 20th century, I find it really ironic how I'm discovering them all using this digital platform rather than having to go onto Amazon or go to a Walmart or some other music store to buy them on CD. You know, it's quick. 99% of the time, I'm always around internet, whether it be my home Wi-Fi or college's Wi-Fi, or if I'm going to my dad's work because he needs a computer repair. You know, I'm using his internet and I'm listening to a song from Apple Music. And as for CDs, because in my case, since I do have nostalgia with like cassette tapes, like when I was like a really little kid, like my parents would play like either kid songs or one of those Disney audiobooks on tape. So I do have some nostalgia, and I can be a very nostalgic person when it comes to like cartoons and movies. But as for like media, I just honestly take it as life goes on. People find better ways to consume entertainment. You know, nowadays I pretty much use streaming for both movies and music. You know, when I did Scorsese Saturdays, I didn't go out and buy the movies on Blu-ray. I downloaded them from iTunes, and you know, lots of other people use Netflix, even though I think their movie and TV selection sucks. Not judging you if you use Netflix. If you like it, then that's great. But the gist of it is pretty much everybody is moving on. And that's why Best Buy and Target are no longer going to be selling, or at least in the case of Best Buy, they're going to stop altogether, and Target, they're only going to sell the really popular stuff. I'm not saying if you like CDs, you need to move on too. Like, by no means am I saying that if you still like listening to CDs, whether it be in your boombox or if your computer has a CD drive, then more power to you. But as for me, and frankly a lot of other people, we're totally fine with moving into the digital music revolution. And it's just interesting how when I was still doing Kumite World blogs, I kind of wrote a sort of rant against Taylor Swift because for a time she wouldn't put any of her music on digital streaming services because at the time digital music didn't make the kind of money CDs had. Though, as I just mentioned, in 2016, for the first time, streaming music made more money than CDs. So I think it's now time for even the artists and the RIAA to acknowledge that. So, again, if you're a fan of CDs as, you know, a content consumer, then, you know, I'm sorry to tell you this. If you enjoy listening to CDs, then more power to you. But as for me, I'm totally fine with where music is going as far as streaming music rather than really even buying and downloading it. I'm totally fine with streaming it. And if your internet does go out, you download the songs you like so you'll have something to listen to until the power comes back on. So, alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.